last before us, we have a new commissioner,
I know.
Andrew Morgan.
You remember me?
I do.
Yeah. We have war stories.
We had a client who was,
Yeah.
Got it. How did it go at the governor's office?
Apparently not as well as I thought.
Tell us.
I thought it went very well. I was glad to see Mr. Gibson back because he wasn't a part of the interviewing committee on around 4, and I saw him in the office while I was there, and I kind of missed him. So I was happy to see him back, and I thought it went very well. In fact, I really left there feeling like that was probably the best interview out of all of them. And I don't know, I'm ready to take me and Ben's relationship to the next level. And
Is there a different composition of questions that they ask you each time because it's so close to?
yes, I mean, I think the more they see you, they kind of feel like, okay, we're not going to start with the constitutional questions and the legislative interpretation. Last round, what they really wanted to know was, well, why do you want the job? It was funny because they're like, you're in private practice, and why do you want the job? And so we talked a lot about that and what I thought I could bring, to the courtroom and why I had a desire to do it. And it was just more, I felt like they wanted to understand my motivation. And they wanted some assurance of what they saw was what they were going to get. That's sort of what I left, there with. I mean, of course we did the legal talk. We talked about the death penalty, and we talked about new legislation that was upcoming to pass in July. But I feel like they're familiar with me at this point. And so the interviews become a little bit more in-depth in terms of who are you, what can we expect if you get the appointment. And I felt good about it. I mean, I really did, and it's always disappointing when I got the call letting me know I didn't get it. Can't even remember the gentleman's name, but it was somebody I had never spoken to, and it was the kindest breakup I had ever received. Normally they call you and they just say, hey, we're sorry to inform you didn't get the position, and you thank them, for the opportunity and the call, and you get off the phone, and the gentleman that called me was just like, he was very encouraging, and I thought to myself, I don't know how to read this, but it was nice. Since then, I've just continued to do what I've always tried to do, which is become sort of the best version of myself that I can be, both in private life and in my life as an attorney. Just work on my skill level, perfecting my craft, so to speak. And that's what's been going on. We won the mock trial competition that I was bragging about. We won both on state and defense side. So I was very excited about that, and we're looking to maintain our titles next year. I celebrated my 18th wedding anniversary, so I explained to my husband it's increasingly becoming more expensive for him to get rid of me. So, we're
Get
still
that
doing.
presumptive alimony permanent.
Well, I keep watching that legislation, I'm like, and it's summer now, so, anyone with small kids knows that summer is hectic. I've color-coded calendars for the different camps and times, and hopefully I'm where I need to be when I need to be there. And that's what I've been doing.
I have a couple questions. So let's start with maybe the more difficult one. In your application this time, you disclosed some bar complaints, and I don't know if you have any status updates for us on those, or how you're feeling, because I hate to send someone to the governor with some unresolved issue, but my read of them didn't have me particularly troubled, so I don't know if you can give us, I don't want you to get into the case or anything, but anything you can tell us.
It's still pending. I don't know how I've managed in 18 years 18 years of practicing criminal law to not, I've only had, if I recall correctly, I was trying to think about it, one other criminal complaint to the bar when I was a public defender, probably right at the start, of my career. And I'm now marveled that I haven't had more, because basically what happens is, I can't get upset. I mean, people are incarcerated. They don't want to be incarcerated, and they will say or do what they need for self-preservation. So, I mean, it's a situation that's still pending. I feel comfortable that I performed competently and ethically, but it's still, it's nerve-wracking. I worked very hard for this license. I take pride in what I do. I don't have an update. I'm hoping. I think what makes me nervous about this time is before I get the complaint, because I've had 2 family law complaints from adverse parties. I get the complaint, I sit down, I do a thorough reply, I send it back, and typically within about a month, I get a letter back saying, yeah, we found no violation. And this time it's taken longer, and I think it's because the 2 complaints are interrelated. One former client is actually writing the complaints for another former client, and it involves other lawyers. So I think that because it involves so many different people, that the bar is rightfully taking their time sifting through it and deciphering it. My motto in life is control what you can control, otherwise it'll drive you crazy. So I've done what I can. I've complied with the bar, and I've, in my mind, reflected back over and over, was there something you should have done different? Should you have handled, this a certain way? I have no regrets. I believe that I did what I was supposed to do. I just have to wait for the determination.
So let me follow up with one that it may be easier, maybe not, I don't know. I was at the judge's forum, the judicial candidate forum for people running for judge last night, and hearing them speak, I was thinking about what a great applicant you are and a candidate you are, and wondering why you had never chosen to run, because I think I think people want you to be a judge. I think you'd be excellent. I think you'd be wonderful on the campaign trail. And so, have you thought about that, and why have you chosen this route instead of that?
For now, this is what works for me financially. It's difficult for me. I have the ability to get the resources to run. I'm just not a person. I'm 46. I feel like I shouldn't have to go back and ask family and different things to help me. And so I want to do it on my own. And we do have that in mind in the event that this does not work out. But for my family right now, I learned. You guys know, you have the record. You know about the prior bankruptcy, and I've made some bad financial decisions in the past, and I've learned from them. So I don't want to, even though I want this very badly, I wouldn't want to run unless I knew my family could financially weather a potential loss. And I'd want to make sure I had all the necessary resources. And it's in the planning, because I recognize, as I'm sure Judge McGillen does, now, and Judge Hood does now, and Judge DuPont does now, that you can get opposition, so you have to be prepared. And that's been in the works since I started this process. But I think it's just the timing. I feel like I need to become more of a student of the political side of it from that aspect. Make sure I have the right people advising me, directing me, and I just want to be prepared. If I'm going to do that and put everything on the line in that way, I want to know that thought and preparation went into it. But the first and foremost answer would be, in all honesty, financially, I don't believe that I'm able to do it at this point.
Ms. Washington, can I ask you, because I'm new, I have not had the benefit of asking you about the bankruptcy. Can you give me kind of a Reader's Digest of what happened there?
Housing
My other
crash.
commission,
I mean, in a nutshell, housing crash. Height of the housing market, we made a decision to build a house in Palm Coast, and literally the bottom of the market fell out in December, and January is when we were putting the house up for sale. We held on to it for 3 years, tried renting, tried a couple of different things, tapped out all our resources, and then it came to the point where we tried workouts, we tried getting approvals for short sales. I mean, we tried everything. And then it just came down to business decision. I mean, I'll tell anybody, anytime they ask, it will always be something that I'm not proud of. It's one of the biggest disappointments for me, as an adult. But we had to make a decision as to what was best for our family. We made it, we're living with it, and we have tried to learn from it. Alicia, before bankruptcy, would have looked at Alfred and said, let's just put it all together and throw it out there and see what happens, and we'll just figure it out on the back end. Crazy thing is, I think he would still follow me. I mean, I don't think he's learned his lesson. I think he would still be like, okay, let's see how it works out. But that's it in a nutshell.
I think previously when you discussed it too, you talked about changed your perspective, as a party to a case, instead of, being a lawyer, that it gave you a sense of perspective for what people go through who are parties to cases.
Yeah, I mean, it helps you, it's humbling. Sometimes you can, when you are at a certain, I guess, station in life, sometimes you can forget, about people who maybe are not at your level, and sometimes you can get a little cocky, and you can look at people and say, I don't know how they did that, that's stupid, that's dumb, and not have any apathy, for what they're going through. It was humbling for me, because up until that point, I thought I had it all figured out. I thought I had made all the right decisions, and I was pretty hot stuff, and and it just it breaks you down, but it helps you build your core back up stronger. And so in that way, I'm thankful for it. And financially, we're in a better place. We're in a more sound place, and we continue to make what I think are good decisions. But we don't judge. When I see people, I always look at them and I think to myself, most of us are one decision away from where that person is. Just one. And so it really helps you to treat people fairly and humanely.
The bar complaints, did they go to committee, or is it still up at the?
They, okay, it started in Tallahassee. I wrote my response. And then they transferred it to an attorney in Orlando, who's gonna now handle all of them, because it's 2 clients and 3 attorneys. Basically, I'm the first attorney on the case, and the other, attorneys came, no, actually, on one of the cases, I'm the first attorney, and then they hired a second attorney, and we substituted out. On the other case, I handled a misdemeanor, and the other attorney handled the felony. And so.
And so in Orlando, that's the Florida bar attorney over there, so it hasn't gone to committee yet?
No, sir.
Okay.
I'm praying I get a letter. I mean, it'll stress you out if you just keep it on the top of your brain. But every time I go to that post office box, I'm like praying for that little letter, that says they, let them know that it's, it's unfounded. But I understand why they have to do, what they have to do, and,
And the complainant's filed against all the other attorneys as well as you?
they didn't, the way they did it, it's different arguments against each one of us. So they filed it as 3 separate ones, but each one references the other. The client that's writing it, I feel like he should have been a lawyer. So it's quite crafty, for lack of a better word, and it draws in a lot of players, and it throws up a lot of smoke, so you got to kind of decipher through it. But I'm okay with it. I mean, you live and you learn. I'm not gonna say. You live and you learn. So yeah, trust me. When I went to revise my application, I was not happy about having to put that in, in there. I was not happy, and I thought, I'm only human, so I'm like, are you kidding me? But they have to have a process to file complaints, and they have to know that the bar takes it seriously, that promotes the integrity of the profession, and
Alicia, thank you. We will let you know by the end of the day.
okay.
Okay?
I'm on a flight at 2 o'clock,
Okay.
so if I don't answer, it's not because I'm scared to not answer. It's because the FFA requires I not answer.
Got it.
And thank you again for, accommodating me, and wonderful seeing you all.